Coming up on Mountain News at 6, with the new year right around the corner, we talk with experts about what you need to know to stay safe when the ball drops. Plus, Kentucky faces a similar opponent in the Iowa Hawkeyes at the Music City Bowl. We'll take a look at it for a preview.
Plus, the weather is quiet for now, but some big changes are on the way. All those details coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Keaton Hall. While New Year's Eve is often a time for celebrating, officials are saying to have fun with caution. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox details how different groups are preparing for the holiday.
As the ball is about ready to drop at Times Square, officials are raising their awareness.
We have a plan, and we ask the public that they be smart and have a plan also if alcohol is involved.
That plan includes increased presence on the roads.
There will be road checks periodically throughout the night. Those will be advertised.
Road checks and also temptation checks. Holiday parties can trigger issues from the past, something addiction recovery groups pay special attention to.
I feel that it's important to stay around people who are in recovery. There are fellowships and churches that have, celebrations that are for people in recovery, that are people who are clean.
With resolutions often becoming a topic for the New Year's holiday, Chad says those can be a good reminder to stay away from triggers, even if they are fun.
I think about how my life has changed and how good my life is compared to how it was when I was using and got clean back in 2011.
Between road checks and text messages, leaders are trying to keep people celebrating instead of causing harm. In Hazard, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Officer Caldwell says one drink is too many if you're getting behind the wheel.
Cool and comfortable weather continues as we round out our Friday, but we are tracking our next weather system as early as tomorrow. Here's a live look over at UVA-Wise this evening, looking at a partly cloudy sky. Temperature not bad, middle 50s right now, 54 degrees over at this location, and temperatures across the region, upper 50s, lower 60s, about 20 degrees above average for this time of year. 63 for Jackson, 61 for London, and 58 over in Manchester. The good news, we are dry on radar. We are tracking some clouds though, but overall not too bad this evening. But look back to the south and west, more showers over portions of Tennessee and western Kentucky, and those are pushing into our direction, and we will see a few showers as early as tonight, especially after midnight, and then a soggy into 2022. All those details coming up in just a little bit. Keaton.
Thank you, Cameron. We're approaching kickoff for the Music City Bowl between Kentucky and Iowa. The big game scheduled for tomorrow at noon in Nashville. The day began today over in Opryland, where Kentucky head football coach Mark Stoops and Iowa head coach Kirk Ferentz took part in a joint news conference. And there was a lot of things to talk about, but the main focus was on the new look offenses that take the field. But for Coach Stoops, he's just proud to see how this team has pushed through.
There's a lot of close calls, what ifs, and like to maybe have a few plays over a few games and certain opportunities, but that's life, that's college, and that's football. And I'm proud of the way our team persevered and pushed through and finished strong. And we want to continue that. We've won 4 bowl games in a row. That's not easy. And, it'll be a great challenge. I was thinking about that the other day. When you play a team like Iowa, it's hard to beat them once.
Sports Director John Lowe is in Nashville covering the big game, and we'll have more on the bowl matchup coming up later in sports. A South Central Kentucky man is dead after a late-night house fire. It happened just outside Liberty in Casey County. Firefighters from the Poplar Springs Volunteer Fire Department were called out to the house around 11 last night. 6 different departments and around 20 to 25 firefighters helped to put out the fire. The Casey County coroner says 78-year-old Dwayne Whited was found dead inside the home.
When we arrived there, the structure was fully involved, and we got the fire knocked down, and we found the victim in the rear of the house. It's hard to work a fire like that any time of year. I just, tell everybody to pray with that family. That's what they need.
Sanders says Whitehead's body was found in the living room area of the home. Well, a crash in Logan County has killed one woman and seriously injured a young girl. The collision involved a Chevy Cobalt and a Toyota Tacoma. It happened in the Peck's Mill area. A post by the Logan County Sheriff's Department says the Chevy veered over the line while driving southbound and hit the Toyota. Inside the Chevy was a woman, a young girl, and a young boy. The woman was Della Browning. She died at the scene. The girl was flown to CAMC Memorial Hospital in Charleston, where she is in critical condition. The boy was treated for minor injuries. The driver of the Toyota was taken to Cable Huntington Hospital and is expected to recover. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation is stepping in to help the Claiborne County Sheriff's Office figure out how a 3-year-old child was shot and killed. Detectives with the Sheriff's Office say it happened Wednesday evening inside a home along Doe Court in New Tazewell. The incident report claims Anthony Adams, who's named as the child's father, told deputies the 3-year-old grabbed the barrel of a pellet gun sitting on the edge of a bed. The report goes on to say Adams says he tried to grab the gun before the child was shot in the chest. At some point, Adams also says he bumped the gun and is unsure how it went off. Adams was arrested on unrelated charges connected to drugs and firearm possession by a convicted felon. An Eastern Kentucky couple who sued a county clerk over her refusal to grant them a marriage license wants her to pay their attorney fees. David Earl Mold and David Moore sued the then Rowan County clerk Kim Davis in 2015. Earlier this year, a federal judge ruled Davis violated the couple's constitutional rights. Davis's legal team appealed. They believed the case would go to the U.S. Supreme Court. Mold and Moore are now asking for sanctions of more than $21,000 to cover attorney costs dating back to April. The case is still expected to go to trial. One elementary school in Letcher County is opening its doors after Christmas break. Martha Jane Elementary School is reopening on Monday after students were forced out of the school following the flood back in July. In a post on Facebook, school system leaders thank parents and the community for their support and patience while making repairs in the last few months. Now to some news involving another massive opioid settlement for Kentucky. Attorney General Daniel Cameron announced settlements with CVS Pharmacy and Walgreens for their roles in the opioid epidemic. The agreement is worth $197 million. The state will receive more than $94 million from CVS through the next 10 years and more than $100 million from Walgreens during the next 15 years. Kentucky is receiving more than $842 million from companies for their roles in fueling the opioid crisis. New rules on medical marijuana in Kentucky take effect on Sunday. An executive order goes into effect the first of the year. It allows some people to possess and use small amounts purchased in states where it's legal. Attorney General Daniel Cameron hinted at potential legal action against the order when the governor first announced it. Kentucky will go from among one of the most generous states for unemployment benefits to one of the least starting next year. Instead of 26 weeks of benefits, those unemployed will get just 12 weeks. Kentucky Representative Philip Pratt nicknamed his plan the, quote, get people back to work bill. The length of unemployment benefits depends on the state's unemployment rate. The lower the rate, the shorter the time for benefits. But if unemployment inches up, so will benefits. It's the biggest change in Kentucky unemployment rules in 84 years. Senior citizens and other Social Security recipients will start getting a larger monthly benefit in January. The 8.7% annual cost of living adjustment is aimed at helping them cope with high inflation. It's the largest increase in more than 40 years. It will boost retirees' monthly payments by more than $140 to an average of roughly $1,827 for 2023. About 70 million people will get the increase, which follows a 5.9% adjustment for 2022.
And rain chances return to close out 2022. All those details coming up next.
And today marks the 6-month anniversary of the tragic shooting in Floyd County. We take you back to Allen, where 3 police officers and a K-9 lost their lives.